Hello everyone and welcome to another Tamagotchi Smart video. This time we're going to be taking a look at the Tamagotchi Smart in terms of its size compared to other Tamagotchi virtual pets. So I briefly looked over this in the unboxing video, but I figured it was probably a good idea to take a look just in a smaller format, just in case you don't want to watch the entire unboxing video just to get a size comparison. So here, of course, is my Tamagotchi Smart. It's the 25th anniversary shell, and I mean, the regular isn't actually out yet. The regular version comes out in November, but they would have the same size, and I'd be very, very surprised if they didn't. So here it is. Here's the Tamagotchi Smart. So first of all, the Tamagotchi that has the most similar size and shape to it is, as I mentioned in the unboxing video, the Tamagotchi Connection. And this is the Tamagotchi Connection version 2, and this is an English version. It was the Australian release. So it's basically, and yes, this is actually my first ever Tamagotchi, so you can tell that it's a little bit, it's seen better days, to put it nicely. So yes, it's basically the same size as the Tamagotchi Connection. Even the thickness of it is fairly similar. And I would say it's basically almost one for one. There's obviously a little bit more thickness to the Tamagotchi Smart, but it's not that different in terms of the size, which is honestly surprising because I thought because it was a colour Tamagotchi that I would have something more the size of the colour Tamagotchis that we've had before. So this is the Tamagotchi On, which is more or less the same size as all the other Tamagotchi colour releases. The reason I'm choosing this one to compare it with in this video is because this is the one that got the English release. Even though it wasn't actually released in Australia, it's probably the one that people might have the most experience with, also because it's one of the newer ones. I haven't had my hands on a Pix yet, so I can't compare the size of the Pix, but I would assume it's fairly similar in terms of the size. So the Smart is actually a lot smaller than the other colour Tamagotchis that we've had. It's not as thick and not as tall, and it doesn't protrude out as much on the back area. It's kind of flat here, which makes sense because if it is to be worn on the wrist, you kind of don't want it to be sticking out like this. That would be very uncomfortable and would stick out and look not too good. So I'm actually impressed with the overall size and shape of it, on the basis that when it was first announced, I honestly thought that I would have something this size and this shape attached to my wrist. It's also a pretty handy feature that you can actually remove the strap, and because it doesn't have a heart rate monitor like the Digimon VB has, it doesn't need to be worn on the wrist. So big fan of that. In terms of the VB, the size is obviously very different. Instead of it being like a rectangle shape, it is obviously a circle in terms of the same shape as all the other Tamagotchis, and the screen is like twice as big in terms of its width here. And also the screen in general is bigger than what we have on the other Tamagotchis, even on ones like the On, which have a bigger body overall. It also has a bigger screen. So that's fairly cool. And obviously, I mean, the fact that it doesn't take actual batteries, you charge it, is another reason why they're able to probably slim it down so much, so I really appreciate that. And in terms of the model, it was more or less based on, this is a version 2 of the original Tamagotchi, and this shell is based on the version 1, which is just the white with the black buttons. It is obviously bigger than the original, but honestly, not by much. And it's, yeah, as I said, it's more comparable to the size of a Tamagotchi Connection, maybe a tiny bit thicker. And then, of course, we have the biggest, which is the Tamago Tamatown, which, yeah, it's, the Tamago is a lot bigger, but the screen size is fairly actually similar. This one is a little bit wider on the Tamagotchi Smart. And then we have the Friends, which again, another English release that is just really chonky for some reason, and yeah, a lot bigger for that one. And this one, I didn't actually compare it on the unboxing video, so we've got the Tamagotchi Mini here, and we've got the Tamagotchi Nano, which obviously the Tamagotchi Smart is bigger than it. In fact, the Tamagotchi Mini could almost fit in the size of the screen. Where'd my Nano go? There it is. And similar story with the Nano. But the Nano is actually thicker than the Tamagotchi Smart. And the Mini is probably about the same thickness of the Tamagotchi Smart. But yeah, so and here's lastly, I've got a Digimon, which obviously hard to compare because it is a rectangle and not like an egg shape. So yeah, that's basically compared with all the most common Tamagotchi releases that are Tamagotchis. Obviously I can't compare it with the Pix because I don't have one, because I can't justify $100 on the Pix because I've heard not so great things about it. I will pick it up one day, but today is not that day. And lastly, just as a side little bonus thing, I have all these official original Tamagotchi cases that are in the size and shape of, well, not size, but the shape of Tamagotchi characters. And this is what made me very happy. Oh, I have a Digimon going off screen. Anyway, so this fits in to these pouches perfectly, which is great because these were made for obviously Tamagotchis this size, but the Tamagotchi Smart fits in it very nicely. It's a little bit snug compared to what it's actually made for, but I'm pretty happy with it fitting in there, and it protects the screen in a cute way. So yeah, so that's the Tamagotchi Smart size and shape, and if you have any questions, let me know, and I'll do my best to answer them in the comments, and I'll probably be doing another gameplay video in the next few days with the Tamagotchi now that I've got more experience with it, and I'll also be doing a review at some point too. So thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!